Today we've got a whole load of brand new information about Elite Dangerous, specifically the next big update called Operations, and I think when you hear the details on all of this, you're going to agree with me that it represents a significant change in how people approach the gameplay in Elite. We've also got a brand new ship called the Lynx Highliner, and yes, for those of you familiar with the older game, you'll recognise the name Lynx, but this is a very different ship. The ship itself is going to be available very soon, and it's going to be available immediately for in-game credits. This one is not going to the Arc store, and I'll be giving you the exact reason for that in just a moment. But this marks the first ship then that we've had for many years that is going directly into the game without passing through the Arc store first. So yeah, a free ship for everyone. And yeah, that's going to be available on the 28th of April, so very, very soon now. But there is a catch to that because this is a bit of a way of an apology for a delay that's going to be happening to the Operations update. Operations was originally scheduled for release in April. Frontier have now pushed that back to June, and that's after previously pushing it back from the end of 2025, essentially making it around about a 6-month delay. So very disappointing news there from Frontier. They obviously want to get this correct. They don't want to put it out there and have problems with it. But, you know, I'm not too surprised when it comes to delays from Frontier at this point. That said, don't disappear from the video just yet because there is a lot of information that I'm sure you're going to want to know about. And we got a few little clips of footage here where we can take a direct look at Operations. So Operations is the new multi-stage mission system. It's designed specifically for squad-based gameplay. It means that teams of up to 4 commanders can take on a variety of increasingly difficult challenges, as Frontier put it. Now, what's not clear to me immediately is whether or not you're about to solo these. Fingers crossed, hopefully you will, because I know there's a lot of players out there, myself included, who like to do content as lone wolf. Either way though, what we've got here is content that's directed, organised, as well as cooperative, and it's definitely a shift really from the more open-ended moment-to-moment gameplay that we've seen in Elite Dangerous up until this point over the previous years. More specifically then, Operations focuses on a number of different challenges or scenarios. These have different difficulty levels, and the difficulty level will affect the kind of reward that you will get. At launch, there's going to be a variety of different scenarios, 6 in fact, and more will be added over time. This is what we've got. We've got Counterattack, Burning Rescue, Megaship Massacre Reclaim, Megaship Massacre Strike, Surface Rescue, and Pirate Hunt. I'm going to go through each of these very briefly to let you know what they actually are. So in Counterattack, players infiltrate a recently attacked megaship. You find out who caused the chaos, you travel to the attacker's base and then provoke a fight, or provoke them into a fight. So you can see there how there's multiple layers to that. You actually start at the megaship and then fly off, once you've dealt with them there, fly off to the location where the attackers originated from. In Burning Rescue, players rescue inhabitants of a station that's under siege. That means you've got to blow open the door clamps, you've got to free the civilians that are trapped inside, and then fight off enemies as well. The Megaship Massacre Reclaim, this is where players fight their way to an offline megaship. The megaship's actually been taken down. You'd have to eliminate the hostile looters inside, maybe battle enemy ships around the megaship, and all this you're going to have to do before time runs out. So there'll be a timer on that mission, maybe the other missions as well. The Megaship Massacre Strike is a little bit different. Again, this will focus on megaships. Here, players sneak into a powered-down megaship. You're going to have to eliminate the crew and do that before the timer runs down, and then enable a takeover by whichever faction has employed you. Then we've got the Surface Rescue. Here, players rescue inhabitants of a planet port. All that before the reinforcements that have been attacking that station or that surface port will turn up, so there will be a bit of a pressure on their time pressure to try and get the rescue done before the reinforcements arrive. And then there's the Pirate Hunt. Here, players are hired to take out a pirate boss. You're going to attack the pirate fleet in their own territory and hopefully cause enough damage to lure the boss into a big confrontation. So yes, you'll be right if you're thinking that all of this is a very different direction for Elite Dangerous, because it most certainly is. And what's interesting, and I think this is going to be very divisive quite probably amongst the community, is the structured nature of this. Because, well, essentially you're not just going to be going to do these missions and picking them up in the way we traditionally do. Instead, what's going on here is that there's a fully organised matchmaking system. There's going to be a dedicated mission hub that ships can sit at for the centre of each run. This is called the Operation Runner. And you can access the Operation Runner from anywhere in the galaxy that you can dock. If you can dock, then you can basically join the Operation Runner. I'm not sure exactly what that means. It seems to be suggesting you will teleport to wherever the operation is going to be taking place. So this will serve as the mission entry point. It'll also serve as the respawn point. If you die, you'll respawn back at the mission runner. And of course, it also serves as the final extraction point. Once you've completed the mission, you'll need to get back to there to complete it. So let's just very briefly touch on the respawn thing. Apparently, if a commander dies or is killed or defeated at any point during the operation, what's going to happen is they will automatically return to the runner. And there, they'll find their ship, which has been fully repaired, fully refueled and rearmed. The player will then be able to redeploy back into the action again, about to get straight back into the mission. It seems then that Frontier are aiming with this at reducing the downtime, the whole thing where you end up dead and spawning back at the other end of the galaxy and having to traverse back to where the mission was taking place, or in other words, just sometimes losing the mission as well. Sometimes that can happen. None of that will be happening with operations. These seem to be completely self-contained environments, as it were. Which actually, now I think on it, does bring up a rather interesting question, doesn't it? That doesn't appear to be answered unless I missed it. Where do these missions actually take place? Do they take place in in the galaxy itself? Will you be able to see other players conducting operations? Or are they in a self-contained, locked-off session? Very curious to see how that's going to actually work. Now, in terms of rewards for completing these missions, these operations, they've got a few different types of rewards. These will include credits, materials, merits, as in the power play merits, and you have to be in a power play mode to get those, and then the new reward, which is called Merc Coin. So Merc Coin is a new earnable currency. It's tied directly to operations, and with it you can purchase ship modules, weapons, core internals, operational internals, or optional internals rather, and engineering blueprints. Frontier have also been very clear here to stress that Merc Coin is not going to be purchasable with ARC, so we're not looking at a new microtransaction currency here. In short, it seems Frontier are looking at as the Merc Store, where you'll spend your Merc Coin as a new long-term progression area, and you'll be able to buy all those aforementioned various different upgrades and resources there. Ultimately then, what Frontier do appear to be doing here is creating another game inside Elite Dangerous. What I was hoping for is that operations would connect all the different threads of Elite Dangerous together, but it seems they're going in a somewhat different direction. They're creating an area where players can effectively have missions, where you can work together, but that these are self-contained away from the rest of the game, even though they do or can directly affect the rest of the game. With things such as the power play mode, you'll be able to do operations to undermine other powers. But the idea of this working like a matchmaking system with people effectively teleporting in and out does feel a bit, it's new, isn't it? Something very different to what we've seen in Elite Dangerous, and I'm not quite sure what I think of that. My initial reaction is to be a little bit, surprised. I don't think this is perhaps a perfect approach really for something like this, but we'll have to see how it actually plays out. I'm going to be releasing another video where I do a bit of a deep dive into my thoughts on all of this, because for now, this video is mainly just about talking on the details that Frontier have revealed. So that's where we are with the operations update. The other thing that I'm sure a lot of you want to know about is the Lynx Highliner. So this is a new ship that will be available for everyone from the 28th of April, and this is a new passenger ship. In fact, it's the first passenger ship coming from Zorgon Peterson, and if you look at it, it's a very utilitarian looking ship. Apparently, this will be able to carry up to 225 passengers and has both economy and business class cabins available to it. And as you can see from the styling, this is far from a luxury ship. That said, Frontier have said this does support the new advanced Mark II cabins. The idea then is that this is essentially a defensive passenger transport. The ship has one large hardpoint and 4 medium hardpoints, and there's a bunch of other information here as well. We've got the core internals that you can see on the screen right here, and then these optional internals. For me, the styling of this ship is, very different to everything we've seen so far in terms of all the new ships. This is the first one that looks really utilitarian, really blocky, and quite distinct, shall we put it that way? So there we have it. That's everything on Elite Dangerous as of today. We'll be back with another video where we do a bit more of a deep dive on what all of this might mean for the game as a whole. Thanks for watching this video all the way through. There is another one on the screen right here. Do take care, and I'll catch you next time.